Just as one door closes, another one opens. Siftod is no longer suing the Walt Disney Company, but now America First Legal has come out with the threat of the mother of all DEI lawsuits, this one against the Walt Disney Company. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place. Here with me is the Power Trio. I'm one of them, so I guess I'm calling myself. I'll accept that. But Vash and Culture, can you be the id and super ego here for me on this channel? You guys can decide amongst yourselves who it's going to be as we get into this subject.
Well, I'm probably more an id, and this because he is the super ego.
Oh, I love that. I love that. This out of Twitter and the America First Legal Twitter account. We aren't going to be able to get too deep. We are planning on doing a very deep dive at some point on this because this is just getting started. As Ron DeSantis and Siftod reach a settlement with the Walt Disney Company, America First Legal, who I do believe owns some shares in the Walt Disney Company and maybe set a proposal for them at the annual shareholders meeting. Breaking, we send a demand letter to Disney CEO and board of directors notifying them of and documenting the following: breach of fiduciary duty. That's a bad one. Misleading shareholders. That sounds a lot like fraud. Intentional violations of federal civil rights law. Whew, that's a constitutional issue. Mismanagement, erasing 40% of value. I suppose they're calling management mismanagement in this case. Although I do believe in this case, it's not a miss, it's a mister who's in charge of the company and the board of directors. Here, let's read a little bit. Notice of mismanagement, breach of fiduciary duty, and waste. Oh, well, they're environmentalists over there in the Walt Disney Company. They hate waste. Dear Mr. Iger and Mr. Parker, America First Legal Foundation is a national nonprofit organization working to protect the rule of law, due process, and equal protection for all Americans. I like Americans. We write to you in your capacity as Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company and Chairman of the Board of Directors, respectively, and on behalf of the Walt Disney Company, shareholders, and customers to notify you of mismanagement. I'm pretty sure they're aware, including but not limited to intentional violations of federal civil rights law, breaches of fiduciary duty, and wasting of company assets. Specifically, the company has implemented facially illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and policies. Workplace anti-discrimination mandates are an essential and mission-critical regulatory compliance risk. You and the board, among your other fiduciary obligations, have a duty of oversight and the responsibility of putting in place a reasonable and effective system of compliance and monitoring and reporting relating to these mandates. However, the fact that Disney has adopted facially illegal DEI policies is prima facie evidence that the company's internal controls have failed. In the words of Oliver Queen, you have failed this company. Guys, do you think Disney might be in trouble here? Can we think of any instances where Disney might have engaged in race-based or immutable characteristics-based hiring, firing, bonus implementation, anything like that?
Oh, there are, I think, a couple of instances you can necessarily point to suggest that the company has engaged in that. In fact, later on in this thread right here, as a post posted by America First Legal, actually they talk about Elon Musk's posts, right, about this whole thing and about the Reimagine Tomorrow initiative that the company has launched and is so fond of, saying they also, America First Legal, they had a big article that they posted on their website right here, and they say Disney also admits that it faces, quote, risks relating to misalignment with public and consumer tastes and preferences for entertainment, travel, and consumer products, which impact demand for our entertainment offerings and products and the profitability of any of our businesses. Now, you'll note that John F. Trent from thatparkplace.com actually first noted that from the September 30th 10K filings that Disney recently published on the SEC website right there. America First Legal goes on to say, yet management has hijacked the company's parks and creative content to push an extreme and divisive political and socio-sexual agenda that is contrary to the values and preferences of the vast number of American families. I think that is an absolute accurate statement, as we've cataloged very specifically here on That Park Place.
Yes, absolutely. Let me read a little bit, and I would love it if you would weigh in on this culture. This is from page 4 of the document, which is available on media.afllegal.org. Fairly read, Disney's Form 10K establishes that race, color, religion, sex, or national origin is a motivating factor, if not the motivating factor, in the company's hiring, promotion, and training. Management states that its key human capital management objectives are to attract, retain, and develop the highest quality talent. However, management also states that its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives are designed to build teams that reflect the life experiences of our audiences while employing and supporting a diverse array of voices in our creative and production teams. It lists specific programs to achieve this goal: the Executive Incubator, Creative Talent Development and Inclusion, and the Disney Launchpad Shorts Incubator. These programs are purportedly designed to create a pipeline of next-generation creative executives from underrepresented backgrounds. However, the evidence is that Disney uses these programs to unlawfully deprive whites, men, heterosexuals, Jews, and American citizens of European ancestry of employment opportunities because of their race, color, sex, religion, or national origin. This is patently unlawful. Culture. Is there any way that they can deny that claim?
No, no. Everything that we've been hearing from whether or not it's you know, the Disney does this across the board in every area. It's not just in the parks. It's in all forms of their media. Their entire hiring practice, based on everything that they are willing to tell you up front, and also in the documents that were, you know, recently republished, dating back to 2021, they tell you what they require, not just in those senses, but it extends beyond basic hiring practices, which is, this is incredibly illegal. It extends into the way that they present media, and any and all media decisions are being made the same exact way. There's no way to deny this. It's everywhere. It's pervasive, and it is incredibly destructive. They've essentially lost out on high quality individuals because of just how hard they push for this. Everything from a Reimagine Tomorrow was a, you know, giant red flag in this direction. This is, oh, I don't know how they intended to get away, or how they expected to get away with it for so long, but they did. And I don't know how they intended to keep it a secret, or just to blatantly ignore the laws in this country that are etched in stone,
Yes, they
sacred.
are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, there's something being alleged here. They're saying that 50% or more, according to they're saying that allegedly Disney is going by these standards. 50% or more of producer and above on writing staff, and 50% or more of co-producer and below on writing staff come from underrepresented groups. 50% or more of episodic directors come from underrepresented groups. Casting director is from an underrepresented group or has not previously worked on a DGEE show in this role. Meaningful representation of underrepresented groups in senior creative leadership. Promotion of a member of an underrepresented group into a role that constitutes career progression for at least one member of the writing staff. Substantial year-over-year increase in members of underrepresented groups as directors in writing staff. This is, oh wait, I'm sorry. This is not what they're alleging. These are quotes. And it says from 21. Let's see what 21 is down here. Disney General Entertainment Content Inclusion Standards, Reimagine Tomorrow. So this is actually quotes from the Disney company, according to America First Legal. These are direct quotes. So we're saying allegedly, we're saying seemingly, because we're being careful, but here we are. And by the way, we're going to point out the fact that that Park Place has had scoops in the past based off of internal Disney company documents where bonuses and promotions were tied very specifically to DEI initiatives within sales organizations at the Walt Disney Company, including keeping DEI diaries. Essentially, you had to make a case for your commitment to DEI within the company in order to be eligible to receive your fully due bonus. It was not based on performance. It was based on your fealty to DEI programs. You can check that out on that Park Place, of course.
That's very, very Accurate right there. That is for sure there, Jonas. But I believe where they're getting this information from, if I can go ahead and share my screen just for a second right here,
go ahead.
is right here. This is going to be that that big old spread that Elon Musk actually posted about. That is still on the Disney website as far as I know right here.
Yeah.
This is where Disney themselves have touted this is their process to have representation exhibited both in front and behind the camera right here. It's interesting, too. They also note their race and ethnicity makeup of this company that's supposed to span the entire globe, but operates necessarily out of the U.S. And you can see how they themselves have touted how they are going about achieving these goals and their progress so far right here. So the company, they're very proud of this work that they've undertaken right here. We've talked about D-Files and how they necessarily pushed out some creatives in the past in order to kind of get this kind of mix right here that you see on screen. We've talked about how, hey, look, they've had screening practices and so forth for hiring or to retain your job based on necessary medical procedures that you've actually had before and stuff like that, and how that could be highly influential to the the mix of people and diversity that you have within your company. The company is engaged in this for years now, and it's not only had a financial impact for the company's coffers, but it's also affected shareholder value, and is absolutely worth litigation on. Culture, you look like you have something to say.
While you're doing that, Vash, I would like for you to go to the previous document and be ready to make a move on that document. Culture, go ahead and make your point.
All I want to say is the nicest way to say this is they're getting rid of white people.
Yes,
they're advertising and proud of removing 3% of white people from their staffing in a year. They're excited that they've been able to get rid of a particular ethnicity
or gender or
sure. I mean, right, but I'm just focusing on that one element in the chart we were looking at.
And what percentage of this is acceptable? No percentage of this is acceptable. We want people to be judged on the content of their character, not on their immutable characteristics. So, Vash, if you wouldn't mind, could you go scroll to the bottom of this? And I think this is an excellent way to end this video. Is that the absolute bottom of the document?
Yes, absolute bottom.
This is not the version that I had seen in the past. Right here at the bottom of the screen is a portion that is presumably written by the Walt Disney Company. If this does not exist at the bottom of the document, that's probably good for Disney. But right here it says context is critical when evaluating if a group is underrepresented. So maybe there's some wiggle room there for the Walt Disney Company. But it says anyone involved in hiring decisions is prohibited from asking candidates and talent about their actual or perceived race, religion, color, orientation, gender identity, military or veteran status, age, disability, or any other legally protected categories. I wonder if that was removed from the other version of this for defense reasons. But I just want to leave that there for our viewers to comment on. What does that mean for the Walt Disney Company, for them to know that fact at the bottom and look at the rest of the document? What was the thought process there? Please leave it in the comment section down below. Of course, we want to say, like this video if you have appreciated this conversation. If you think that something is going to be happening with this America First situation, let us know your thoughts down there. We will be covering this in more depth as we have been in discussions with legal counsel on other matters. Maybe we'll ask about this there while we're doing that and report back to you on their findings. Of course, there is a live stream that is Sunday evening where we'll be going over a cease and desist letter that was sent to That Park Place over on the Valiant Renegade live stream, which is 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central. You might want to be there for that, and there'll be more announced there. Of course, the Walt Disney Company earnings call will be on Wednesday, April 3rd, over on the Valiant Renegade live stream as well. We will be there. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.